everyone, welcome to my channel Nicrix. So we have I have completed my PHP tutorial in which I have defined how to add, edit the session variables, the cookie variables, and also I have uploaded a project named shopping cart by which you can just create a shopping cart project. You can add display categories as well as products in your shopping cart. So now a very important topic and a video which I'm going to make today is that how to create an admin panel from where user can add from where the administrator of your of a website could dynamically update its data onto the website, and how to create a dynamic website in which there are two panels. One is a front end that is being displayed to the user, and the second is admin panel that is being maintained by the administrator or the owner of a website. So it's a very important part or a very important video tutorial in which I'm going to explain how to make an admin panel. First of all, if you have not subscribed to my channel, do subscribe to my channel. Click on a notification icon to receive all the notification of the videos that I'm going to upload in the near future. So moving to my this part, I have a HTML CSS mate with me. I have three files with me. One is the add page from where I'm going to add, and one is the display page from where I'm going to display, and the third one is a login page that is going to give me you can say a panel or a interface from which I am going to log in. If my username and password is correct, then it will be taking me to the other pages like this index page or a page at page. So right now we have all this with HTML files. So we need to convert it into the PHP. So for that I have to go like simple. You can say just I need to change its extension as PHP. I'm going to share the links of these files of this HTML and CSS file into my description box. You can check it or you can just download it from there. And also I'm going to create a full-fledged a restaurant, or you can say a property site as well as a restaurant site, which you can create by seeing this video. So first of all, let's create a common admin panel for all this site and how to make an admin panel. So I have created I have converted my HTML files into the PHP file by simply like changing its extension from HTML to PHP. So here, if I'm going to say admin panel, so right now we have index.php. So here I need to open this in localhost because earlier it was the HTML file. Now it's the PHP file. So PHP file will be always open in my in the server. So admin panel. So here my first page should be the login one. I can just change this page as my page summary, and to this page I will be naming as page add, and to this page I will be naming as index.php. So when I am going to just refresh my, or whenever I am going to open my admin panel folder, automatically index.page will be displayed onto your screen. So right now this is a page. We can just open this page over here and we can say this is the admin panel. I have a few files attached with this. So it's a design made in Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a framework which converts your design, your HTML and CSS design into the mobile responsive and the tablet responsive website. So if I'm going to just look at into the small window, so it has been converted into mobile view, and if I'm going to just change or increase or decrease my window size, it's been converting according to that. So now I'm going to make a database over here. So clicking on a database, so it's, we can say, admin panel, admin panel, and this is the admin panel. And to this admin panel, I'm going to create a login page, login table, in which there will be a number of columns as three. So three columns. One is the ID, the unique ID to my table, username, and the password. So int 11 and its primary so auto increment. So the second one is username. So username will always be having 255 characters. Password will also be having 255 characters. So I'm going to click on a save button. So right now we have username and password. I'm going to insert a default value over here. We can say the admin is a value because it is being like right now maintained by your admin of a website. So right now we have admin username and password that I have inserted by default. So I need to just like I need to just now create a, you can say, form, or when I'm going to click right here as admin or admin, and if I'm going to click on a submit button, it's going to check this username and password from this login table, this login table username and password field. And if the user has entered admin and admin, and so that username and password will be matched by this, and it is going to display a message login successful, or it will be moving to the next page. So let's start writing the code over here. We have a table. So before table, we can just like implement a form. So form method should be post, and here I'm going to, this is a table, and we can just open a form over here. So after just table is being closed, we can just close a form, and here input type text name, we can define a name over here. It's UN, and here we can define input type password as name PW. So ahref is a button. We can just convert this ahref to input type submit, and we can say here as its value as login. So I'm going to just, so we can say here the input type submit, name should be a save, and value should be a login. So here my button comes. Here is a username and password. So username and password, the form method is post, and we have created a submit button over here. So whenever I'm going to like check admin and admin, and if I'm going to click on a login button, the page will be refreshing. And as I have not specified here any action, so by default index.php will be called. So I'm going to create here PHP code, and we can define here the connect variable in which I'm going to create a connection to with my database. So right now my database name is admin panel. So I'm going to write here as admin panel or its connection. We can define here as connection fate. So right now, if not empty dollar underscore post, as I have specified the form method as post. So if not empty, it's the post. I'm going to get my username equals to post. So post is the UN is the username, the name I have given to my this username, and it should be a password that I have been given. So now username and password has been like I have like delivered in this username and pass variable. So I'm going to make a query, select star from, that is my table name, that is login table, where username equals to username and password equals to pass. So result MySQL I underscore query connect query, and we can say here count. So MySQL I underscore num underscore rows should be result, and if count is greater than 0, then we can say here echo login successful, and else echo login failed. So this is my code. Let's check whether it's working or not. So admin and admin, the login successful message has been printed, and admin and one free, the login field message has been. So if I'm going to check this, like the username and password is being submitted as a form method is post, so we are not getting any username and password in my URL. So all the values of the forms are passed in a secured way. So here, if after the submit button, after clicking on a submit button, UN and PW is holding a value of username and password that I have been submitted, picked up in username variable and the pass variable, and I have implemented query that select star from login. We are going to check in the login table that where username equals to username and the password equals to password. So the query, these are the various queries of the SQL, and I have uploaded a SQL tutorial in which I have explained all the SQL queries into my Netflix channel, and in the playlist of my channel, YouTube channel, you can just find out learn SQL tutorial, and you can learn their number of queries from my SQL tutorial video. And if you want to learn more detail about get and post method and the request method, I have a video uploaded at my PHP tutorial playlist, and you can find it there in that particular playlist. So coming back to this part, we have now been checked that select star from login, and if after executing this query, if by entering the admin like success, we have a username and password as admin. So when this query will be executed, the result will be submitted over here. The result variable will be holding my this row because username and password with admin and admin values are being found in my table. So when I'm going to check my SQL underscore num underscore rows, then the count will be, the result will be holding up one record, and that one will be transferred in count variable. So right now count is having a value of 1, so 1 is greater than 0, then login successful message will be printed. And if this login username and password is not correct, for example, if I'm taking up a random username and password, and if I'm going to check in the login, so login failed has been written over here because no username and password with that particular name has been existed into your table. And when this query has been executed, the result will be 0, and when I'm going to count this result, so count 0 is not greater than 0, so login failed. So here, if my username and password is being correct, so I'm going to take my page to header location. It's the page add.php. So page add.php, it will be taking me to that particular page. So admin panel, and I'm going to say here as admin. So right now the username and password is correct, so it is going to take me to your page add.php. So before coming to this page, we are going to just uh, change something like here there is a fixed state. We need to like have a random date. So year, we can say date, month, and year, GMY. So right now it's 24/6/2021, So the date is being displayed over here. So dynamic date, so it will be changed by whenever we are going to, like every day it will be changing and automatically updating it because we have used the date function over here. So this was all about your the login part. Like in the later video, I'm going to implement the session variable also. So right now, I have just input my admin and username and password is matched into my database table, and now I have been landed into the page add section. So now this is the page add. We need to, like, we have a websites where about us pages are there. We need to just display the page of services. Like we have a website, asrproperties.com. So this is the property website we need, and if I'm going to click on this about us page, it is showing me here the content. So this content is a dynamic part, so for that, like, it's also showing me the services section. The services content is also the dynamic part. The content is being displayed over here. So these all data is being displayed from the backend, or you can say from the database, and that all we will be updating in this page summary and add page section, and we are going to make all this stuff right now. So for that, we have to create a page table. We are going to create a page table with ID, name, content, and we can say the ID, name, and content. Right now, we can have a 3 or 4 fields over here. So 4 fields or three. We can check here with 3 fields. So ID will be the name and the content. We can like ID will be the unique value, the unique reference to my each and every row. So ID, it should be a primary, it should be auto increment. The name should be a varchar. Varchar always will be having a length of 255, and the text is not having any value. You can just input n number of text over here. So I'm clicking on a save button. We have a page, table name page. I'm going to click on a structure, add one column after the content, click on a go, and we can just put a one field, more field over here, that is a status, the tiny int its type, and the length is 1. So tiny int is a data type in which only two values are being allowed. Either you can input 1 or you can input 0, because right now its value is 1, the length value is 1. So the status, so id, name, content, and status, and then this page add.php, I have to just open page add.php, and we can say, we can just like we can just li, these are all the li's. We only need page add and page summary and page add, so we need to just delete this extra stuff. So we also won't need this module summary. We need a change password. So page summary and the page add and the change password tab. So here we have the three fields: name, content, and status. We have name, we have a content, we have a status. So apart from this, we gonna delete all the stuff. So table row, name, it should be the title, meta keyword, and the description should be removed. So name, content, the image should be removed. I'm going to tell you all about how to upload an image in an admin panel. So display order will be removed. So name, content, and status, and we have a field as name, content, and status. So now we are going to just add all this into my database table. So let's start. We need to create a form tag. So better we can make have a method post, because in post the values have been saved in a hidden format. So closing my form tag, we have to define the name to each and every text box over here. So name, it should be a name. We have a div class content. We can just say here the name equals to content. As I have implemented here the tiny MCE, this is basically you can say a, a JavaScript editor in which you can just bold up your text, or you can just change its formatting to bold, italic, center. Like this is a basically, we can say, if you search on a Google, you can just search tiny MCE or CK editor. There are like n number of editors by which you can just format your text area. We will be talking in detail about this in a next video. So right now we are going to save all this stuff into a database. So we have a text box. I have given a text box name as name, and to this text area I have given the name as content. And to my checkbox, I will be giving my name as status. So here I'm going to click have a save button. So we can say here as input type equals to submit, name equals to save, and we can have its value as save. So the save button, and there is a form. I'm going to say just check whether the form has been submitting. Yes, so form has been submitting. So form has been submitted. So we need to here like create a PHP block. So here also we need to open a connection by which we can just like add a record into a table. So this connection is being opened again and again in all the files. So in order to have a multiple connection, we can just like make a new file. We can just like cut it from here, and we can just also cut it from here, and we can just paste it into a new file, and we are going to save this. We can just it's a admin panel in which I am working. So I can create a folder over here, a common folder, a name folder with the name common, and I can just type here as connection.php. So in the connection.php, I'm only having a reference. Only creating a you can say I'm only connecting with my database. So here to include that connection, there is a function called include. I have saved that file into my common folder. So first of all, I have to provide the reference to my common folder, and in the common folder, I'm going to provide the connection.php file reference. So include common.php. So this file is common to all. So here also, I'm going to just say include common connection.php. So if not empty, dollar underscore post save, and we have three values. So name and content part and the status. So let's see what it is coming. So echo name, we can have a break over here. So echo content and echo status, echo content, echo status. So I'm going to just refresh this. Name, it's about us. Content is about us. And status, to this status, there is something wrong into this status. We can say here as status, input type status, width 50 pixel. We can just like write 50 pixel. So now it's looking good. So about us, content is about us content, and status, to this status I have just checked it. So save. So about us is a title that has been displayed, and it's on that has been displayed. We didn't receive the value of content. So to receive a value of content, we need to say we need to check that what its right now class has been there or name has been there. So I'm going to just right click, inspect it, and into my paragraph, or we can say here onto this part, there is a tiny MCE over here. So here we need to check that why this content value has been not been updated, as if I'm going to see here as page add, we have input type text, we have a div over here. So to this div, basically it's a tiny MCE. So I have given the name to my div. So instead of div, I need to change it to a text area, because the text area value will be submitted. So text area. So if I'm going to refresh this, nothing has been changed, because earlier it was division, now it has become the text area. So if I'm going to submit now, like we can say here as about us, else everything is same. So I have just converted this division to the text area. So now if I'm going to, I can just say here about us name, about us content, and the status. So right now we have about us name, about us content, and when I have clicked on a status, it's giving me the message on. And now if I'm going to say about us name, about us content, if I'm not going to tick on my checkbox, so nothing has been passed. So we can just say here that if status, or we can say here as if dollar dot post, if is set dollar dot post status, then status equals to post content, otherwise it's not going to give me the any message. And if I have been clicked, because if I'm going to check on this status, then it is going to give me the value as on. So if status is on, then status should be replaced with 1, else status should be replaced with 0. So if user clicks on this checkbox, the status will be coming as 1, and if user does not click on this checkbox, the status will be coming to 0. So name and content, now I'm going to just check a query. I'm going to make a query, insert into page. We have a page as page, and the page is a table name. Name, content, and status is a field names into my table. The values, a single quote, name, content, and we need to just, that is a tiny, so we need to just print it. I need to check that if my query is working fine without any error. So here I'm going to say as about us name, about us content, and the status. So clicking on a save button, right now it's a query has been generated, insert into page, name, content, status, value, about us name, about us content, and status is having the value of 1. And again, if I'm going to say as about us name, about us content, and if I'm not going to click on a status, then save, it is giving me insert into page, name, content, status, and now the value is been coming as status 0, because nothing has been passed. So now we can, there is a warning here that not status has been not undefined variable status, so we can just create a variable over here as a status, and I can just put a double quotes over here. So right now status, and like here it's something being wrong. So right now this has been generated, so everything is working fine. So I'm going to say here as if mysqli underscore query, the connect and query reference has been passed, and echo record inserted, else record not inserted. So here record inserted and record not inserted. So let's check whether what has been happening right now. So if I'm going to save here as about us name, then about us, content, and click by clicking on a status button. If I'm going to click on a save, so right now it's record inserted, and if I'm going to check into my database and browse, so right now about us name, about us content, and the status is one. So if I'm not going to say here as about us, or you can say here as services, services content, and if I'm not going to click on a status checkbox and save button has been pressed, so record inserted. So right now we have the second number record, the services content, and that's right now the status is 0. So in this way you can just add your like you can add your data into your database and into your table. So here you have seen that how to add about us and services page into your database in this table. Now basically what we want to do is we want to just like fetch all the records in page table into a third page, that is page summary. So there is a page name called page summary.php in which I have made a design in which the data will be displayed. So we need to display data from that table to our front end. So moving to that part, we have a page as page summary. We need to open a connection over here on the top of my screen in order to fetch data from the database. So here I need to print my data. So this all files are like displaying the static data. So now I'm going to put a coding over here, that is query select star from the page is a table name. So result will be executed MySQL I underscore query. So it will be receiving two arguments. One is a connect variable and other is a query variable. Then we have row MySQL I underscore fetch underscore association. That will be the result variable that I need to pass. So I will start a bracket over here and of the while loop, and I will close the bracket here. So this is a block of my loop, that my loop is executing from here till the block ends, and in the block inside the while loop I can put my HTML, CSS or PHP. If I want to put my PHP over here, I have to simply just put my PHP code, and by putting up a PHP code, for example, we need to like enter the ID one, and there is a name, and the last one is your content. So I'm gonna refresh this. So here my records comes, that is ID, the page name, the about us and the services. So number of sub pages we can change here as page content, and this is the page content. The status of a page, we can just change a status with my actual status at the back end, that we can say here status. So 1 and 0 is the status right now of my this about us and services table, and the edit button, and in the last we can put here as the delete button. So delete. So here my all the data comes from the backend. So in this way you can just display your data from the backend, from the table into my admin panel of my any of my project. Either it can be your a job project or a shopping cart project or a classified project, whatever it is. So moving to the next part, let's So if I have like if I'm seeing it's properly, then I can just put you can say like there is a common header, the business administration and the logout is common in both page summary and page ad, along with the you can say here along with the menu of this in the left section, and a footer section is also common. So I need to comment all the files. So making the common files, we need to just like we can see here, this is the header portion. I'm going to pick this header portion and I'm going to put here as include. The common is a folder and the header.php is a file. I am going to create a new file, and in the new file I'm going to save this as header.php in my common folder. So header.php has been saved. I am going to just replace my header portion with this chunk of code, with a chunk of this one line, that is include common header.php. And if I'm going to like refresh this, so the both header portion is been coming from here. And moving to the next part, we have this date portion. I think this is a header div, and this is the division that need to be closed over here. So I'm gonna close this division over here. So moving to the this left section, this can also be like you can cover up it in your this header part only, because it's basically the date that is being displayed along with that. So this can be your date portion is been also been adjusted. So I think there is like it's looking great. So moving to the next part, we have a sidebar, and in the aside we have both our menu as well as my table. So I need to just like disaggregate my ULLI, that is the left section of my page. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to paste it over here in the common folder. We can create a left list.php, and I'm going to just include file over here, that is include common, it's left list.php, and now I'm going to include this file in page summary as well. So I have picked up a UL over here. So there is a single file left list in the page summary and in the page ad. If I'm going to see here, then my both admin panel is now common. So what's the benefit for this is like if I want to create a link with my page summary, and if I want to create a link with page add.php, so I'm going to write it once over here, and when I'm going to refresh this, the both will be updated in my page add and the page summary. So by clicking on the page summary, it's moving to the page summary page. By clicking on the page add, it is going to move me to the page add page, the page summary and the page add. So this is the common. So it's like you need to change here only in the common file, and the both pages will be having the effect for the same. So header is the common. So here we can just put up a date function of a PHP. So echo date. We can say here Y will be the bigger one, YMG. So it's we can say it's date, month, and year. So here my 28/6/2021, the date is being displayed over here. So this was all about your making files common. And now moving to the next part, we have to create a delete reference over here. So individual to create an individual delete, I have a video uploaded onto my PHP playlist in my Nicklix channel. You can go and watch it from there also. Also, if I'm going to implement that particular thing over here also. So in the page summary, I have written here the delete. So ahref, I'm going to create a link over here. So the delete portion, and page summary.php question mark did equals to, we have a unique row id for each row, that is, this is the unique row id that is being given in the each row. So I'm going to display here as the link to be the page summary.php. gid is a reference to my, it's a query string, it's a custom query string that I am been generating. So here my link goes. So if you look at the status bar at the bottom of my screen, that is a page summary question mark did equals to 1, and here the page summary dot php question mark did equals to 2. So if I'm going to click on the first delete, so my page is going to be refreshed. If you look like some carefully over here, the this globe one panel is being like refreshing. So I can put here like a simple AST. Now, if I'm going to click on a delete function, my page will be refreshing and my query string is been changing, and the AST which I have written in my file, that is also been printed. So every time I'm going to click on a delete function, it is like refreshing my page and passing a particular ID at top of my URL of a web page. So in the top of the panel, I'm going to say here as if not empty, it should be dollar underscore get did. So id equals to dollar underscore get did, and now I'm going to just delete it from here. That is, delete from your page where id equals to id, and if mysql I underscore query, again a reference to my connect variable and the query variable, and this particular message will be displayed. I can put here script tag. So by putting here a script tag, we can just like create a alert box. So script tag I'm going to put here. So in the script tag, I can just put a alert box that says if the record has been deleted from the backend, then it is going to click in, like it's going to push an alert of record deleted, and if it is not, then it is saying me as a record not deleted. So everything is on the track, so we can just like now see the output. So there is a services page. If I'm going to click on a delete, so it says me the record deleted. So here the services record is been not been showing over here, and if I go, I'm going to the MySQL at the back end, then if I'm going to click on a browse, then services record has been deleted from here. So in this way you can just like pass a query string at the bottom, the did, because query string is a row id and did is a variable. You can put up any variable name over here, but the row id is a unique reference to my each row. So by clicking on a delete, the row id will be passed in the top of my page, and if not empty did will be taking up into my id variable, and it is going to delete the page from my table page where id is matching with that, and if query has been executed in the alert record deleted, it's been displayed. So moving to the next part now, if I'm going to check my edit function, how to implement an edit function. So implementing an edit function, we first need to create a link to my the second page in which my record should be edited. So anchor tag, I have to take up my record, my flow to this the page at table, because there contains a form in which my records will be displayed for editing mode. So I'm going to like just put up here as ahref page add, and I'm going to pass a variable with eid as a reference, eid, and I'm going to pass here as echo row id. I'm going to pass the id along with my eid. So looking up to this one, so if I'm going to look on to this the bottom of status bar, it's showing me the link that it's by clicking on a edit icon, it's taking me to the page add.php page, and it will create a query string with the name eid and a value of 1. So let's make another page, let's say the services page, those services content, and I can click on a status and save. So if I'm going to go on a page summary, and if I'm going to like have a put a cursor on the edit icon of my services page, then in the bottom there is a page that's saying me localhost admin page i.php eid equals to 3. So if I'm going to click on this particular page, it's taking me to the page i.php. So now my target is to display the records from database into my this field so that we can just do an edit part over here. So right now you are having the EID as your value in your query string. So I'm going to write here as if not empty dollar underscore get edit ID. The edit ID, not, it's not the edit ID, it's basically the EID. So ID is going to get into my EID variable is going to get me into ID variable, and I'm going to select the record from the page table where ID is going to match with my ID. So I'm like executing a query like the select star from page where ID equals to ID. So this query when executed will be fetching a single record, because as I am specifying here as where class, so it is going to fetch on the single record. So to access all the data of that record, I need to call a function with MySQL fetch association, and I will pass my result variable in that. So passing my result variable in that, R is having R. Let's check that whether R is holding all the records of that particular ID. So yes, the R is holding the record of that particular ID. If I'm going to click on the first about us, so the about us content is being displayed. So right now, my target is to just like display the record into my this text box. So we can say here as like PHP if not empty, like we can say if not empty r is my variable, and we can say here that r name. So r name, if r name is not empty, the r name will be displayed into my current like text box. And in the same way, we can just say here as in the text area, we need to just implement into this text area, and we can say here as if not empty our name, our content, then the content will be displayed over here. And we need to tick on a checkbox if it is active. So for that, I need to say here as if your this R status, we can say here as if our status is if not empty our status, as well as we can say here that if it is not empty, and if our status equals to 1, then it's going to like we can say it is going to show me a checkbox with the check button if it is 1, and if it is not 1, it's going to show me a simple checkbox. So let's try it. So right now we have a page head with the content status 1. So if I'm going to click on an edit button, so about us name has been displayed over here, about us content has been displayed. So my status was 1, and I have implemented a condition over here if not mtr status, and if status equals to 1, and then my checkbox is being checked. The check property of a checkbox will just pick up your checkbox, and if it is not empty or if status is not equals to 1, then a simple 0 has been displayed. I'm going to check this with the help of updating my record. So I'm going to say here as 0. So if I'm going to refresh this, this page. So right now the about us the status has been not marked. So in this way you can just check your like display your data in the editing mode. So now my target is to update this data. So if I'm going to click on a save button, it's going to add my data again because the form has been when I am going to click on a save button, it's going to submit my form, and here the name, content, and status will be received, and it is going to place an insert query. So to update this particular record, we need one more field over here. That is, in the form method, I'm going to create a field with input type hidden. Its name should be edit ID, and right its value should be if not empty. If not empty, dollar underscore dollar R ID, then its value will be displayed over here. So I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to inspect its element, and if I'm going to say here like the input type hidden variable X, the text box exists. Its name is edit ID, and right now its value is 1. So let's see in the case of services page, if I'm going to click on an edit button, so we have input type hidden, and right now its value is 3 because services page is having a value ID of 3. So with the help of this ID, so whenever I'm going to save this form now, always the edit ID reference is also being passed. So in the upper part, the where insert query is being written, I can put this query in condition that if not empty, dollar underscore post. So edit ID, if not empty edit ID means if edit ID is having a value, it will only contain the value if this form is opened in the edited mode. So if the edit ID is having a value, then it is going to call this particular function, this one block, and if it is empty, then it is going to call the this one block. So query, I'm going to just pick up my edit ID. So I'm going to place a query that is update page, set name equals to name, content equals to content, status equals to status, where ID equals to ID. So this is my update query because I'm going to like if I'm going to just click on a about us page, and now my ID is being stored in my this hidden variable, this one, and the edit ID is being stored in this ID is being stored in hidden variable. So I'm going to change this part, this about us. So we can say here as about us, and I'm going to right now its value is 0, and I'm going to change its values to 1. Like I'm going to check this. So I'm going to save this. So record inserted it says, and if I'm going to check here as so about us name is been converted changed to about us, the content is about us, and the status is 1. If I'm going to see here as so here my record edit is being edited because at the editing time my ID is also being passed. So if my ID is edit ID is not empty, if it is a hidden variable, if this like element is having a value, and the form has been submitted, so that value will be taken up in ID variable, and update function will be called, where that it will be updating name, content, and status where that particular ID is being existing. So if it is a new file, for example, we have a new file over here. So this is a new file. We can say here as contact us. We can say here as contact us and the save. So now no ID is being passed because edit ID is empty right now. So it is going to take me the insert page, and now your insert is being like the contact us page is being added. So this was all about your edit and delete part in your admin panel. You want to change some data into you want to edit or delete some data. So in this way, you can just edit and delete into your data. So moving to the next part, we want to implement a search as well into my this admin panel. And so moving to the search part, we can say here as we can here is a form in the page summary. There is a form. Here is my form. So I need to search the pages that have about us name. So search by page name, input type text. I don't need this second table row as I will just pick up this button and I will put this button over here because I don't need this second table row because I need to search it from only with the help of page name. So this is the table. I'm going to implement a form over here. So let's have the method of form as get. So by default, the method is get. And I'm going to create an input type text with the name S. And we can say here as button, it should be a type, should be submit. So let's try whether it is submitting or not. So I'm going to try as about us, and if the search has been called, then the form has been submitted. And right now I'm having a query string because I have not specified any action over here. If I'm going to specify a action, it is going to take me to the that particular page, which page I'm going to whatever the link I'm going to take. So at that page it is going to take me. So right now I have not specified any action over here. So the form will be taking me to the its own page, that is page summary, in which it has been declared. So if I'm going to say here as about, so S is the equals to about, and here my query has been existed. So if I'm going to write here as if not empty dollar underscore get, you can say here as S. If it is not empty, then the search equals to dollar underscore get S. S is going to whatever the S variable is holding right now, that is going to come in your search variable, and your query will be executing over here, that is query select star from page. It should be a page where name percent search percent, else it will be a query select star from page, this one. So now I'm going to search here as about. So only about us page is being searched into my database, and right now it has been displayed. So because right now S is having a value, if not empty S, whatever value S will be containing, it will be coming into your search variable, and then it is going to say as select star from page where name search. if it is if it is empty, then I'm going to just click on a search. So right now it's emptying, it's showing me all the records. Because the condition become false, the else part will be executed. So there is a query, like in the query, I have implemented a dollar as a percentage sign in the starting and in the end of my this word. So what does it mean? See, the search is containing a value of about into it. So putting a percent at the back end or at the front or at the back of my word, like if I'm going to search here as UT. So UT is two characters that is being presented in my about us. So it is going to display about us again. So if I'm going to search as AB, again the about us is being displayed. So if I'm going to remove this, so let's remove this, and now I'm going to search as AB. So right now nothing is being displayed. Why? Because basically the a system is searching that particular record that contains exactly the AB word, but right now we don't have any word for that. So for that, a search, if we want that search should be not word specific. It can pick up any word from my this group of words. Then we can just put a percentage in the front and in on the back end of my search variable. So now, if I'm going to search as AB, us, whatever you want to search, so us is also being present in the contact us, so it is being searched. So S is being presented in every your name, so it is being searched. So all things are being searched. So this was all about your admin panel, your how to add your data into your database with the help of admin panel, how do you can fetch your database from your from your database to your admin panel, how to edit your record, delete your record, and the search record. So this was all about your admin panel basic CRUD operations. I'm going to implement a shopping cart admin panel in my next video by continuing this admin panel. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, do subscribe to my channel for getting all the latest update of this admin panel. It's a very helpful video. You can implement this videos in your projects. Mostly every dynamic website is being implemented with the admin panel. So this is a very important part. So do subscribe my channel. I'm going to share my link of my next admin panel video along with this video in the description panel of my of this video. So do subscribe and do like and share my video. Thanks for watching my video and do like my videos. Thank you.